burst into intense activity for probably the wrong reasons.
Release our director. We want our freedom.
A small crowd of youths flying what?
I think what Donald Trump, the president of America, is doing right now is what you can call survey. I mean, to do survey about people from America, I mean the country from America that are still ally of America. No wonder he excluded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He didn't invite him. Maybe he has known that this man is forming alliance with the BRICS, with Putin, Russia. And we have seen it that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has left St. Lucia now and is heading to Brazil for BRICS meeting. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this align with the BRICS? Donald Trump refused to invite President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do you think we should be expect?
No. What is actually going on should be clearly understood. Right from the inception of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, he was thoroughly advised to avoid Trump. You know, and not because of who Trump is or what Trump is going to do. It is because of what they did during Trump's first term, second term presidency, where they donated and reportedly gave money, funded Joe Biden's campaign against Trump to the tune of $500 million US.
Wow, that's a lot of...
Yes, you know, so that reservation is still there. Another factor too is the Biafra factor. That's very clearly, you know, because the chief of staff to Donald Trump, Susie Williams, is going to spearhead the African summit under President Trump. So you can see they are preparing Nigeria clearly for disintegration. They have refused to recognize Nigeria ab initio from the inception of Trump's administration. He was not invited in Trump's inauguration. And this has severed the relationship between Nigeria and America, and signaling that Trump is having a clearer picture of what he wants to do with Nigeria. And he first of all starts to give you the signal that, you know, I am coming in another direction. And that is what it is. He invited so many African countries, and Nigeria being one of the commanding influence in Africa, I think our president deserves a space in that African leaders summit.
Of course, Nigeria, the giant of Africa.
Yes, but unfortunately, you know, that has never happened, and it looks as if it's not going to happen. Yes, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tried as much as possible to use the French minister, Prime Minister, President Emmanuel Macron to launder Trump, but Trump have rejected anything that has to do with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, and like I just pointed out, you know, maybe based on what transpired in the past, or because of, you know, what he want to do Nigeria. At the end of the day, there is issue of a very close ally of Donald Trump. Martin Nnamdi Kanu is a close ally. So it got a lot of attention by appointing Susie Williams as the chief of staff to Donald Trump. And these are former lobbyists, US lobbyists and Biafra lobbyists in Donald Trump's government. Very influential woman, you know, and I think to an extent, Biafra is getting the recognition it required, and Donald Trump has continued to distance himself from anything that has to do with establishing or ongoing deep relationship with Nigerian government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, and that also may affect Tinubu's, you know, international image and acceptance as the next president of Nigeria. Seriously, you know, because most of these things count. at the same time, when you are not being invited in a global conference that is hosting top African nations, and your name is not there, and giving you the role of Nigeria in Africa. So it's a very disturbing one for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even though we are hearing that he has left St. Lucia to Brazil to join in the BRICS summit that is going on. Then what is BRICS is all about? BRICS is a communist currency. That's the way I would define it. That's been built to see how they are going to tackle down the pounds, the British pounds, and the US dollar, and make it a global acceptable, money. But I don't know how successful that is going to be. But for me, it looks like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has also instructed his vice president in the past to attend a similar summit some time ago, might be aligning or chasing the chaff at the end of the day. The end of Nigeria can be predicted or unpredictable if we continue, if the nation continue to witness, global unacceptable presence with the way things are going currently under Bola Ahmed Tinubu APC-led administration. It looks like Donald Trump does not like APC. I'm not even talking about APC. There are so many policies and agencies being supported by his administration, especially with the killing of Christians in Nigeria. It has been reported and discussed right there in the Oval Office of the US President Donald Trump, and a lot of things are ongoing on the ground. And especially the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. From what we are seeing signs and from some quarters that what the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu we are about to experience, the release that we are about to experience, is as a sort of pressure from Donald Trump, U.S. government, and that is the signal we are seeing right there over and over again, that any moment from now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be a free man.
Let's look at it in this way. Russia is after Africa. America is also after Africa. Which one of them do you think Biafra's, agitators will romance most, so that they'll be able to, they get this, what they are looking for? Or do you think they can use both sides? They can be in the way that both sides will be beneficiary to the actualization of Biafra emancipation?
Yes, that's the end of ECOWAS. ECOWAS has finally collapsed, and I don't think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to bring back the Sahel, a confederation back to ECOWAS. And the newest country now, the world is looking, and I'm talking about, even though I've seen in some occasions where Biafra was being referred to during Ibrahim Traore's speech, the current head of junta in Burkina Faso. But the thing is that, the Biafrans have already aligned with the US concept, and of course the Israeli, agenda at the end of the day, because of the nature of the nation, the geographical nature of the nation, and what the people seem to be representing globally. That is what it is. We have already aligned with America. We have already aligned with Israel. You can see it clearly, the way and manner Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did his things, pursued his dream to an extent. He was invited by Donald Trump, by the GOP members, about 2 years ago, and he participated in one of the rallies where Donald Trump was just very few meters away from where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and some GOP members were sitting in that rally. And secondly, we are seeing a very clear, laudable recognition, diplomatically, of the United States government of Biafra, giving the embassy that was the Biafran embassy that was opened, in Washington, and secondly, the command headquarters of IPOB was also launched in Germany, and so many other gradual movement of high-level diplomacy where a lot of things will be discussed. The essence of having high commissions and embassies is to enable treaties, engagement at the toppest global level, an international agreement reached in a very closed door as we could to pursue the reality of Biafra. So Russia, I can tell you very clearly the situation of Russia, the Russian factor in Biafra. The Russian factor in Biafra is very clear. It has been made very clear. We are going to be an ally of Russia, and there's no two ways about that. We are not going to be only allied to Russia. We will establish treaties and of course sign some level of business interest, high-tech interest, defense treaties, and so many other things.
How do you think you will be able to match this country together? Because it's like both of them, they are now rival in Africa. Each one of them are looking for ally. How do you think Biafra will be able to manage that?
Of course, the fact is very clear. China, Russia are struggling to take over Africa.
Yeah,
and that's it. In fact, and you can see the latest movement now by Donald Trump to seek allies in Africa. So on doing that now, and for the fact that he is even campaigning. I remember that Ibrahim Traore is even campaigning that they should make Igbo language and one of the official languages in Africa.
Wow.
Yes, he said it is already there, it's trending. So that statement alone tells you the global presence of the Igbo people all over the world and the recognition of their contribution to their respective, hosts around the world. So based on that, and our alignment is very clear. And if Donald Trump is going about trying to create new alignment and make sure that they do not succumb to the Russian communist agenda, yes, socialism or welfareism, because the kind of capitalism we are seeing, which is going to attract a lot of things for Biafra, is why we are thinking towards that direction of aligning with America at the end of the day, because it seems that their understanding and their international policy and culture align with the beliefs of Biafran spirit.
Thank you very much.